Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It is Saturday, about 2:18 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Um, Last night we went over a little bit of um, the first day of trial, the sentencing trial for Shelby Nealy. Um, Shelby Nealy, back in 2018, um, is suspected to have red-rummed his wife, Jamie Ivancic. I think I'm saying that right, as well as her parents, Richard and Laura, and her brother, Nicholas, as well as her parents' three dogs. Um, I believe Jamie was um, found in a grave on one of the properties. Um, and then the three others were found in their home. Um, I mean, Shelby and Jamie, I believe, have two daughters, one of which I caught was her name was Bella. The time this was back in December of 2018. They had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I believe Bella was the 1-year-old. Um, in early December, Shelby showed up at Jamie's parents' house with the daughters and Jamie's car, but no Jamie. He did also, at some point, use Jamie's cell phone to text relatives and so forth, pretending to be her. And then on or about December 14th, the last time the wife, Jamie's mother, was seen at about 3:40 p.m., I believe, at a Walgreens. And then it's suspected that he red-rummed her that day. And then shortly after, either on that day, likely on that day, he did the same to her husband, which is Jamie's father, Richard. They were both um, rolled up in carpets. I believe I caught that he tried to have them stored in like uh, a trailer that was on site. He did. Uh, uh, Either way, they were found inside their house. And then on or about December 16th, he does the same thing to Jamie's brother, Nicholas. And Nicholas was found in his bedroom. Um, and then his parents were found in their bedroom. The dad was found in the bedroom, and then the mom was found in the master bathroom. They were also all covered in paint, suspected that paint was um, to cover up the smell. At one point, he does try to go and um, bury them in the backyard. One neighbor, her name is Deborah, had seen him digging out there with his two little girls also with him. Um, but it is believed that he just physically couldn't carry out the job, so to speak. So he put them all back in the house. Um, we went over the opening statements. Um, and then let me check my notes here. First witness was James Quinlan. He was an investigator with the state attorney's office. He was on there briefly. He was pretty much called in to be as the go-between between the prosecutor and the judge. Um, and he did I can't remember what they call it, but it's like a picture packet that he put together and showed it to neighbors to see if they could identify a suspect, which eventually one neighbor came forward. Her name was Debbie Lafferton, who was working from home at the time. She is a neighbor of Laura and Richard, and she was able to identify Shelby and also stated that, she did see what she thought was maybe him doing some landscaping out there. And she did joke to a friend that, oh, it looks like he's digging a grave. She thought it was just a joke. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And so let me get set up here and we will continue on. Bear with me here a minute. Okay. I've got this ready and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I don't know how long I'll go today. Maybe an hour, hour and a half. I do have some things that I have to do. And then I'll come back later on this evening. There we go. So this is going to be witness number 3. And like I say, as always, I have fibromyalgia, I have a number of back fractures, among many other things. So I do have to get up and move around quite frequently.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Mr. Doig, you may inquire. Yeah, have you sworn her in yet?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's okay. Sometimes you just can't swear enough.
Right.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Please state your name and spell it for the record. Could you spell it?
Pardon?
Could you spell your name for us?
Spell
Yes, ma'am.
Godsey.
Ma'am, are you currently retired?
Yes.
How long have you been retired?
Over 20 years.
And where do you reside?
Pardon?
Where do you live, ma'am?
Tarpon.
Tarpon. What neighborhood?
In the Meadows. It's called the Meadows Mobile Home Park.
And is that a retirement community?
I'm sorry, I can't hear
Is that
you.
a retirement community?
Is that what?
A retirement community?
Yeah.
Or a 55 plus community?
Right,
I guess I should
right.
say. Did you live in that neighborhood in December of 2018?
Yes.
How active are you in your neighborhood?
At the time, I wasn't real active because I was traveling a lot.
Do you try to interact with your neighbors when you're around though?
Yes.
And you try to keep in touch with them, speak to them and things of that nature?
Yes.
In fact, when this case got set for trial, And subpoenas went out. Did you actually go check on your neighbors to see if they got subpoenas?
Yes,
So you try to keep on top of things, it seems, right?
yes.
And have you always more or less been that way?
And I what?
Have you always been that way? That sort of neighbor?
Well, yeah, I mean, because all the neighbors around me are the ones that pretty much knew everything going on.
Do you recall the people that lived on the corner near the mailboxes at 1954 Juanita Way?
Yes.
Did you know the people that lived there?
And just an
Briefly. I
FYI,
don't think they've been
Shelby
there
has
too long.
already
Can
pleaded
you tell us
guilty.
what you
This
did know
is
about
the
them, or how you knew them?
Well,
sentencing phase of the
husband, I
phase.
saw him, I never really talked to him, and the lady, I had talked to her maybe twice. So I saw her walking her dog some, but that's about all.
Okay. About how old did they seem to you?
I think he looked like he was in his 70s and she was maybe 10 years younger.
And you said you saw her out and about the neighborhood a little more than him.
Yes,
Did you ever speak with her?
twice.
Did you speak with her at all in December of 2018?
Yeah, I think it was around then.
Did she say anything about what was going on in her life at the time?
No,
Now, did you ever see her around the neighborhood beyond, say, about a week before Christmas of 2018?
I don't remember, but not that I can recall.
Okay. Had you seen her walking the dogs fairly regularly before that?
Yeah, off and on. I'd see her just out from my door, you know.
Now, later in the month, did you see anybody else near the residence that you had not seen before?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
It was a man, and he was actually digging a trench the length of her sidewalk. He was outside digging.
Okay. How deep did it look to you?
It looked like it was getting pretty deep.
Did that strike you as unusual?
Well, yeah, I mean, don't know why he was digging it.
Did you ever speak to him or ask him what was going on?
Well, I was going to the mailbox and I waved at him and said hi, and he did the same thing, and that was it.
Was anybody with the man when he was digging that
No.
trench? Now, eventually, there ended up being police out in the neighborhood
Mhm.
to look into what had happened at
Yes.
1954 Juanita Way. Were you in the neighborhood when that all happened?
No, because after the
I am-
18th, probably like maybe the
My apologies for the
21st or
audio.
so,
This
I
is
went out of town to my son's house for
the
Christmas.
court
so
TV
I wasn't
audio.
there. I didn't know what had happened at all.
Did law enforcement reach out to you?
Yes,
And did you talk to them about what you had seen?
on the phone, yeah.
I don't have any additional questions this time. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
No questions. Thank
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You may step down.
Yeah, thank you.
You're done. State, please call your next witness.
State would call Richard Ivancic.
Welcome to today, the day where you no longer
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Surabi, you may inquire.
Judge, will you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes, my name is Richard Ivancic Jr., Richard Lewis Ivancic Jr. It's Ivancic is the last name. I'm the oldest son.
All right, well, going to get there. Mr. Ivancic, how old are you?
I'm 59 years old.
And you don't have to give me the exact address, but what area do you live in?
I live in West Palm Beach, Florida, the other side of the state.
And how long have you been down there?
Over 30 years.
Now, I want to ask you about some people. Did you know someone else by the name of Richard Ivancic?
Yes, my father.
Okay, and do you know his date of birth?
Yes, December 13th, 1947.
Okay, now, whereabouts were you born? What area of the country?
Cleveland, Ohio.
And what's your mother's name? First.
Janet.
Now, your mother, Janet, was she married to your father?
She was. They were high school sweethearts.
And where did you all live when you were young?
West side of Cleveland, pretty much all over the west side of Cleveland.
Ohio people?
Ohio people. Yes.
It's all Ohio people.
Very good Midwestern people.
And do you have any brothers with the same mother, Janet?
Yes,
Or
yes.
sisters?
Yeah, one is here today, Mark, my youngest brother. Mike is the third oldest, and then my sister Renee is here today as well. There's actually 4 of us within a matter of 6 years.
Okay.
So we're very close in age, in other words.
So who, do you know Laura Ivancic?
Yes,
Who is she?
I knew her.
Who is
She's
she?
my dad's second wife.
Okay. And when did she come into your life?
About a year after I graduated high school in 1985.
And obviously by then your father was divorced. And did he marry Laura?
Yes.
And while they were together, through the 80s, 90s, what area of the country could we approach?
In Ohio. North
All right, you may.
Thank you, Judge. So Laura and your father were living in Ohio.
Yes.
While they were in Ohio, were they fostering children?
Yes. Yes.
And through fostering children, did they eventually adopt 2 children?
Yes.
And do you know
Jamie
their
and Nick.
names?
Jamie and Nick. Nicholas and Jamie.
So I guess what would that make their Nicholas and Jamie's relationship to you?
They were our not by blood, but by they were your what do you call them? Brothers and sisters, I guess you can call them to us, but they weren't by blood. So by adoption.
Now, at some point, did your father move down near you?
Yes, he did.
And was that in the few years prior to his death?
Yes, it was.
And roughly what area of the state did he move into?
I lived on the west side or the east coast of Florida. Near me is Lake Worth, Florida. He owned a mobile home there. I was waiting for Laura to come down, and I don't know if it's as expensive here as it is in West Palm, but it's a little expensive over there. So we decided to move from West Palm to this side of the state.
So when he moved down, did Laura move down with him?
No, he did not. No, she didn't because she was taking care of her mom.
Okay. And did your mom pass in a couple of years before all this happened?
Yes. I think it was 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
Shortly before then, all this happened.
Yes.
Once Laura's mother passed, she moved down with Richard.
That was the plan, yes.
Backing up a little bit, did Nick also move to Florida?
Are you tired of uncomfortable bras that dig, poke, and just don't fit right? We deserve.
Yes.
And lived with Richard during a period of time?
Yes. He felt it was better to join his dad because of employment opportunities.
Okay. And were you aware, did your father and Laura and Nick at some point moved to 1954 Juanita Way in Tarpon Springs.
Yes, yes,
Was that roughly middle of 2018?
roughly, yes.
Had you been to that residence ever before all this happened?
Yes, I had. I was there once before, shortly after they moved in. I couldn't help him move because I travel a lot. So they had moved in and he wanted me to come over and see it. I happened to be there at a cigar event. So I popped in. I happened to be in Tampa and I popped in to see it. And it's a nice community. It's exactly what he needed.
Let me ask you this. In terms of Laura and Richard, did they keep a clean house or did they leave stuff lying around all over the place?
It's funny you asked me that. My dad is very anal retentive. Okay. He's an engineer, or he was an engineer. So he likes things very organized, very neat, very tidy.
Okay. So would it be unusual to see receipts and things lying around the house?
Absolutely.
Trash on the floor? Or
Absolutely.
walls messed up?
Absolutely.
Couches across doorways?
Very unusual.
Okay. So would you talk to your father on the phone, text with him, those types of things?
Yes.
Every now and then see him?
At least every week or so, we check in. I would probably call him or text him if I was traveling to a unique location because he likes cigars as well. I would share cigars with him. I'm in that business. So that's how we connected at a later age.
Okay. Did you call his 71st birthday,
I did.
December 13th of 2018? Did you have any contact with him that day?
I did. I called him. I called him on the 13th to wish him happy birthday. I think it was later in the day. I think it was during the week because I think I might have been traveling before the holidays. And we were kidding or joking because he was excited that his grandkids were coming. I have two kids myself that are about the same age as his two kids, two girls. They live out of state. And I was traveling to see them for Christmas. So we were sort of joking about that on his birthday.
Okay. And you were going to visit your children who recently had grandchildren?
Yes, it was her first, my first and only granddaughter. It was her first Christmas. So I wanted to be there for Christmas. So
Were you talking to your father about that? Because this would have been his great grandchild?
I was, and he would comment back that he was going to have his grandkids come and visit too with Jamie and the defendant.
Now, in that discussion, did you discuss that when you got to North Carolina, South Carolina?
South Carolina, yeah.
South Carolina, that you would be communicating with him and sending him photographs and things of that
Absolutely.
nature because of the
Yeah, he loved receiving pictures, especially, like I said, I travel a lot. I send him pictures of a lot of places I go to. So he wanted to see some pictures of his great-grandchildren, which would have been.
And when you would send him photographs and things like that, would he normally say something about it?
I would always get some kind of response. It could be a like on the picture. It could be, something about the picture. I would always get some kind of a response, yes.
So would it be unusual if you sent him photographs of the new great-grandchild and get no response?
Very unusual, yes.
Yeah.
So that birthday, December 13th, 2018, was that the last time you talked?
It was.
Saw your father?
Unfortunately, it
Had any
was.
contact with him at all?
It was the last time I spoke with him.
So obviously at that point in December, you're going up to visit family and about to be the holiday season. Were there multiple times between then and New Year's that you were sending in photographs?
Yes, yes,
And did you get any response to that?
none at all.
Did it get to the point where you were concerned?
Yes,
Did you try to call him?
I did.
I believe he only
Get
used
any response?
None whatsoever.
Jamie's and possibly Laura's
Yes.
cell phone.
So as time goes on, does there come a point, December 31st, where you're traveling back?
It's about 10 hours from South Carolina back to West Palm. So I had plenty of time on my hands to talk. So after I tried reaching out to him, no answer. I don't remember if I tried texting Laura or not. I don't remember, but I know I text my sister who's here,
And also,
my brothers.
my apologies.
One of them's here.
I live in a
and
two-bedroom,
they
very
hadn't
small
spoken
two-bedroom
with him
apartment
since
with
his
my
birthday
fiance
either.
and our three cats.
That they told me.
I have
Then I called his brother, his oldest brother.
loud upstairs neighbors,
he's
so you might hear
One
the
of 6
kids,
children. So we come from a rather large
hear
family.
the cat. Hear
I
my
called his
Ken,
brother,
you
my
might-
Uncle Ken,
you might hear
and
everything.
we tried to start putting together a
It's
timeline.
unfortunate,
When was the last time he
but
talked?
it is what it is.
And the best thing he could recollect was the 14th or 15th. And I was 13th. So that was the end of that day. I got home and I went to bed and woke up the next morning. I said, something's just not seeming right. Okay. I have a lot of friends in law enforcement, and, I know what a welfare check is. So I thought,
Now, let me ask you this. So now you've compared notes. Are you concerned?
very concerned, yes.
Now, you know what a welfare check is? Have you ever called in a welfare check before?
No, never.
Is that something that you just like, hey, I haven't talked to somebody, I think I'm gonna call the police and have a check?
No, talked to a couple friends of mine, just to say, what can I do? Besides driving over here, which is like 4.5 hours away, could be 5. They suggested do the welfare check. And I thought about it. I said, that's a good idea. So I called
So when did you place that call?
New Year's Day,
January 1st of 2019?
2019, yes.
Okay. And when you called, were you put in contact with Hartford Springs Police Department?
Yes,
And did you provide them some information and why they were calling and
correct.
why they were going to end up going out to 1954 either way?
Yes, I gave them the address, told them what my concern was about the pictures, not hearing back from them. The officer said that he would call me on the way there, which he did. When I hadn't heard anything for quite some time, I became very concerned. And I thought that something was going to happen, something had happened.
Was there some?
Thank God for closed captioning because I can hardly hear the dude.
You open to hear back from the officer pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was.
In fact, did you get upset when you hadn't heard from him in hours?
Yes.
And then did you try to get more information about why hadn't you heard?
Well, yes, I did. I hadn't gotten any information back. So, I know quite a few people over this side of the state. I just called a bunch of friends and asked them to go up. One of them called me back and told me they drove in a uniform.
Sustain.
So eventually, did you get in contact with law enforcement?
I did.
And at that point, did they give you some of the information about what had happened?
Yes.
Judge Bainbrook?
You may.
Couple questions for you. Was Nicholas also living at 1954 when you?
Yes, it was.
And there was a van there. Was that the vehicle that Nicholas generally would drive?
Yeah, it was in my dad's name, I believe, but he was driving it because Laura and him were sharing the other car, the Kia that was stolen.
Did there come a point around January 4th-ish where after law enforcement, maybe 4th, maybe 5th, after law enforcement had been in the house and done the investigation, that you had an opportunity to go to the house?
I did.
Now, and did you see the state of the house?
I did.
Is that the way that your father would have, and your stepmom would have kept the house?
Absolutely. Something I will never forget for the rest of my life.
I don't have any more questions.
Thank you. Any cross-examination?
There you go.
All right, Mr. Sarabia, would you like to present anything else?
Yes, Judge. Did you have anything to present?
Are you looking at 4x4s on cars.com again?
I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
I was.
Hang on a second. Okay. Members of the jury, you are about to hear evidence about the impact of this murder on the family, friends, and community of Richard Ivancic, Laura Ivancic, and Nicholas Ivancic. This evidence will be presented to show the victims' uniqueness as individuals and the resulting loss by the deaths of Richard Ivancic, Laura Ivancic, and Nicholas Ivancic. However, you may not consider this evidence as an aggravating factor. Sir, you may proceed.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry I need to wear glasses because I'm getting old. So, I'm here representing myself and my family. I could not be in attendance today. I'd like to read my written statement to verbally express our feelings and discuss the impact this crime has had on me personally and my family. I'm speaking to you as the oldest biological son of Richard Ivancic Sr. It was very hard to try and put into a few words a lifetime of memories with our father, and a bit later with his second wife, Laura, and their journey into the foster system. So where do I start? Our mother, Jan, and father, Rich, had 4 biological children, Rich, Renee, Mike, and Mark, from their first marriage. Our parents were high school sweethearts. He was an all-star high school quarterback, and our mom was the captain of the cheerleading squad at West Tech High School in Cleveland. He was quite an athlete. He had offers to play for college ball, that is, until they had me. During their senior year in high school in 1965 and 1966. They were raising 4 kids by the age of 24 and were married for 14 years. But of course, as they were childhood sweethearts, known each other since 7th grade, so just about over 20 years. After their divorce, my father spent some time searching for what he wanted to do with his life. Since graduating high school, Dad had worked his way up the ladder with CEI, which is Cleveland Electric Illuminating, and retired as a draftsman in their engineering department. After meeting his second wife, Laura, they decided to start their family. Unfortunately, after having 4 kids, due to the previous medical procedure, my father was unable to seed additional children at this point in his life. This led them to the path of foster parenting. Dad and Laura were foster parents for many years to many, many children when they lived in North Royalton, Ohio. While they fostered many kids from various broken homes and families, his biological kids all lived in different states. We tried to keep in touch with him via text, phone calls, occasional visits to town to celebrate a holiday or birthday. Dad and Laura moved to Columbus, Ohio, after he retired, where he started a business called Powerline Accessors with a partner of his. They were what you called a modern-day storm chasers that would send power crews to areas impacted by major disasters, like hurricanes that we have here in Florida. In fact, many of us in this courtroom might have been impacted by our father's work to restore power during some of the recent hurricanes during the 2007 to 17 timeframe. In 2017, he sold his shares of Powerline Accessors. During this time, while he was with Powerline, he enjoyed boys' trips with his brothers, Ken, John, and Bob, along with some close friends. And on occasion, he would invite the young guys. We would join them, including myself, my cousin, Jimmy, or brother-in-law, Doug. I'm sorry, guys. We would have a great time bonding with the boys, playing golf, visiting local horse tracks or casinos, just simply enjoying life. It wasn't until they met and cared for Nick and Jamie that they decided that these were the 2 kids they wanted to adopt and raise as their own. Nick and Jamie were very young, I believe around the ages of 5 and 8. I could be wrong. Both Nick and Jamie came from very challenging and unstable families. Laura and my dad changed all of that. They quickly became the children that they could not have themselves. They gave them everything they could possibly want or need growing up. Yes, they were quite spoiled. Even after retiring, they took care of Laura's parents in their later years, as well as caring for Nick and Jamie during this time. My dad and Laura loved foster kids that they cared for and were torn every time they had to give them up. They were innocent and loving parents and grandparents that had many more years in front of them. In fact, I was driving back from visiting my kids and granddaughter in South Carolina. I shared pictures of a trip with Dad and Laura, but never would have guessed this was the last time I talked to them. We will never get to see them again and can only hold on to the memories that we shared along the journey of life before they were all taken away by him. Thank you.
State, anything else regarding this witness? Any cross-examination? Thank you, sir. You may step down.
Thank you.
State, any further witnesses for today? You may.
think we're going to move on to day 2 here. I think that's about it. There's only like a handful minutes here. See if they say anything.
When we said we were going to get it done. So maybe if we start early on a couple or a few days, we can get done even a little bit early. So if you can be back tomorrow at 8:45, so we'll have a full day of evidence and testimony tomorrow. I believe that the bailiffs, I will tell you where to meet. It'll be in judicial reception on the 3rd floor, so they'll tell you how to get there. Again, do not discuss the case with anyone. Don't do any research about the case. Don't read or hear anything about the case. You already know all of that. Everyone has a juror badge. Don't forget to have your juror badge on in the morning. If it was me, if I brought it in the house, I would probably forget it. So I might want to leave it in the car, or if you have a purse, keep it in your purse so you don't forget it. And then have it on as you come in, because when people see that you have that on, that tells everyone not to say anything to you that they shouldn't say, or say anything about the case or anything like that.
All right. So let's go ahead and end this.
Were you born between 1970
Bear
and
with me here a
1979?
minute.
If so, you can get a Le Creuset cookware set completely free. And
We're on to day 2. Let's do a little zoom.
Seated.
Having listened to the court's instructions and the rulings and what we've got to do so far, we revised it. So, I'm not sure Mr. Doak has had a chance to read through it yet either, but the court reading the law, I think, was very helpful. And so we will get that to you as soon as we can get it read out.
Okay, so is he going to testify or read that after lunch? Is it going to be today?
And
Okay.
we would do that at the end of the day.
All right. And then let me know, because if we have more than one victim impact evidence witness in a row, then I can just say that the next 2 or 3 witnesses, blah, blah, blah. So I don't have to read it 5 times if they're going to testify consecutively here.
And Judge, the last thing I think is that after reviewing some of the reports from people who are, it's my understanding, are going to be testifying today, there are comments in the reports, opinions, let's say, where, oh, this is the worst crime scene I've ever seen, or this is one of the worst crime scenes I've ever seen. Those are things that these
I don't doubt
evidence
it.
techs or detectives or
Horrific.
whatever have put within their report. So I would ask that they not be able to give their opinion on that and just testify to what they saw.
All right. Well, reports don't come in, so.
Right, but they might be asked or offer that on the stand, so.
State.
I'm not going to solicit that comment.
Okay. Anything else?
They might just need to know not to say it, because they might just, when I walked in, it was one of the work, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. So.
I just need to approach on this one matter real quick.
Okay. All right.
They typically, when they go approach the bench, it's usually pretty quiet. So, who do we got
Good morning,
here?
sir. Good morning. Ms. Shelby, you may inquire.
Morning, sir.
This is what-
Can you please state your first and last name and spell it for the record?
First name Robert, common spelling, last name Rondos, ROND as in dog, OS.
And where are you employed?
Tarpon Springs Police Department.
How long have you been an officer, or how long have you been employed by the Tarpon Springs Police
A
Department?
little over 13 years.
And in what capacity?
I'm assigned to patrol as a police officer.
Have you worked in that capacity the entire time you've been with Tarpon Springs PD?
Yes.
Do you have any prior law enforcement experience?
Yes.
Where was that from?
Almost 2 years in Pasco County.
What sort of training and education have you had in your years in law enforcement?
Well, when you first get into law enforcement, you have the basic academy. After that, you go through field training, FTO, and then throughout my career, I've been involved in a lot of like tactics, specialty units as in dive team, a lot more training with those positions as well.
And were you working in your capacity as an officer with Tarpon Springs Police Department on January 1st, 2019?
Yes.
Do you recall responding to a welfare check to 1954 Juanita Way?
I do.
On that date. Do you recall what you were called to that residence for?
It was a welfare check. The caller was a son of one of the subjects. I know they stated that they haven't talked to their father in a couple of weeks, and we're concerned.
Can you explain to the jury what a welfare check is?
So welfare check is, we get them almost every shift, if not every other shift. Welfare check is, it could be something from somebody fell, not answering the door, to they haven't spoke to somebody in X amount of days, not answering the phone. So we pretty much go and check their well-being.
How much information did you have about this welfare check when you started to respond?
Very little.
Did you make contact with the caller who had requested the welfare check?
I did over the phone.
And did you obtain additional information from him on the way?
Yes.
After you had obtained that information, did you have any concerns about this welfare check?
Concerns were based off of his concerns that he hasn't, I believe when I called him, he told me he hadn't spoken to them since his birthday, which was on December 13th, I believe. And it was very unusual that he hasn't heard from them, from his father, and then also his mother or stepmother.
When you arrived on scene, were you alone?
Yes.
And did you park at the residence or somewhere else?
No, I just parked one mobile home over.
And why was that?
Just basic officer safety. You don't pull right up in front of a house.
Did you request any backup?
Not immediately. I did not.
Were welfare checks like this fairly run-of-the-mill and generally not dangerous in nature?
Correct.
After you got out of your vehicle, did you approach the residence?
Yes.
Did you notice anything unusual as you approached?
I did.
And what was that?
There's a large hole, like a trench, a large hole in the front yard.
Mm-hmm. What did it look like to you?
Honestly, looked like a grave.
And where exactly was it in relation to the residence, driveway, things of that nature?
It was adjacent to the driveway, the carport area. It was only a few feet from the actual driveway itself.
As you approached the residence, did anything else strike you as unusual as you got closer?
Yes.
And what was that?
As soon as I got close to the residence, I noticed an obvious odor of like human decomposition.
Is this a smell that you're familiar with?
Yes.
Is the smell unique in nature?
It's very unique.
Now, what does this clue you into as you're approaching?
That there's possibly a deceased individual inside that home.
Okay. Did you attempt to enter the residence at that time?
Not immediately, no.
And why was that?
I waited. That's when I asked for other units to respond.
And is that because of your concerns about the odor of human decomposition?
Yes.
Once backup had arrived, did you attempt to make entry to the residence?
Not immediately yet, no.
And why was that?
I basically walked around the outside of the house, checked the doors, windows. I noticed a lot of flies on the windows, and pretty much checked the perimeter before we even attempted contact or make entry into the home.
Were the flies on the windows inside the house or outside the house?
They were inside.
Did additional units respond?
Yes.
As well? Once you had even more backup, did you attempt to make entry at that point?
I did. I walked up to the front door, I knocked on the front door. There was no answer. While I was knocking on the front door, there was a rake and a shovel, like right there in the driveway as well, that had like similar colored dirt on it still from that hole. We had no answer there at the front door.
Were you verbally announcing yourself?
Yes.
At that point, were you still treating this as a welfare check?
Yes, sir.
And at this point, did you have heightened concern about what was going on or what had happened inside the residence?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Did you eventually find a entry point that would allow you access to the residence?
Yes.
And where was that?
So there, just pretty much in front of the car and the driveway was just a screened-in porch. That screened-in porch door was unlocked, and then once inside that porch, the sliding glass doors to the home were also unlocked.
Okay. And did you access the interior of the residence through that door?
Yes.
Did you continue to announce yourself while you were doing that?
Yes, sir.
Did the intensity of the odor become stronger as you entered the residence?
Yes, absolutely.
What did you observe when you first entered the residence through that sliding door?
So through the sliding door, the glass door, I could see the interior. It was a mess. It almost looked ransacked.
Okay. What room did you enter first?
So it would have been kind of like a breakfast area, kind of just on the side of the kitchen. That would have been the room I entered through the sliding glass door into the home.
Okay. Did you observe spoiled food inside the residence?
I did.
Did you observe dirty diapers on the floor of the residence?
I did.
Did you observe a drop cloth in the residence?
Later on in the residence, as we started to clear the home, yes. But in that sliding glass door, you could see there was a couch there that also had blood on it.
Okay. How much blood was it? Was it a little bit of blood, a lot of blood?
I wouldn't say it was like a significant amount, but it was a decent amount of blood.
Mm-hmm. Was it very obvious?
Yes.
Did you, you mentioned clearing the residence. Can you explain to the jury what clearing the residence means?
So in this case here, when you clear a home, you obviously have more than just one officer. This isn't like an immediate dynamic entry. This is a slow, methodical clearing, using your angles. Pretty much we're clearing the house safely. And then also determining if there is anyone inside and if they, of course, do need help.
Now, you mentioned that this drop cloth wasn't something you encountered until you had started going through the residence. About how far into the residence was it before you
So I would say it was probably like a family room, living room area. Just outside the kitchen.
Okay. Did you notice anything about the drop cloth that indicated if it had been put out recently or if it had been there for a long time?
Yes. The drop cloth looked like it was just taken out of a package. It still had the creases and the seams in it from being folded up. And it also had patio blocks or like landscaping rocks from outside. Came from outside that were holding down the corners of the rug.
Okay. Did there appear to be any construction project, repair project, anything of that nature near where this drop cloth was?
No.
Did the placement of the drop cloth there strike you as unusual?
Absolutely.
Did you notice anything else in that room?
Yes. I noticed like Home Depot bags. There was rope. I believe some of the rope was still in packages. And then also about that room, it looked like most of the furniture was pushed to the side to make room for that drop cloth.
This bra changed senior ladies' lives forever. Get instant breast lift, like going under a surgery.
Did you notice any protective equipment, such as masks, gloves, things of that nature?
I did.
Now, did you continue to go through the house from that point?
Yes.
As you were doing that, did you notice anything on the walls of the residence?
I did.
What was that?
It was kind of odd. It looked like blood splatter, but I couldn't tell 100% because it could have been painted over or like try to clean up afterwards. But I did notice that on the wall. Yes.
Did that create additional concerns for you?
Absolutely.
Could you tell us what happened next as you continued to clear the residence?
So as we went down there was one main hallway in the home. I did, from the second door on my right, I did notice, obviously the odor was significant. I did notice like fluid, consistent with like human decomp. And the floors were laminate, so you could see the fluid kind of leaking out into the hallway underneath that one closed bedroom door.
Is that something that you had seen before in your career?
I have seen that before, yes.
It's not so good.
Now, after you noticed that in the hallway, did you go straight for that, or did you have to look into other rooms before you could make?
No, we cleared every doorway as we approached it and didn't pass any points that we did not clear.
What did you see in the rooms as you cleared them?
So the first door on my left appeared to be a laundry room. It was, I mean, it was filthy. It was like ransacked. The first door on my right was a closed bedroom door. I opened that up. That was the cleaner room of the house. It was still messy, but it looked livable and not like the remainder of the residence.
Did you see, blood on the walls or anything on the floor related to decomposition in that room?
No.
After you finished clearing that room, where did you go next?
So it would be the second door on my right.
And what was in that room?
So when I opened that door, that's the door that had the fluid coming out on the laminate floor underneath the door. When I opened that up, I noticed that there appeared to be a body underneath a drop cloth, another drop cloth, or like a sheet. The cloth over top of it had fluid on it as well. Yes, and then also on top of that bed, I remember just like a large amount of like cleaning supplies, bleach. I mean, there was I think there was an incense thing on the counter. I mean, on the dresser. Yeah.
We were so tired.
Was it? You said that was incense on the counter?
I believe it looked like an incense on the counter. Yes. I'm sorry. It would be the counter. It would have been the dresser. My bad.
Dresser.
Yeah.
Was the incense successfully masking the odor at all?
No.
How intense was it at that point?
It was pretty significant.
Did you have a hard time going about your business due to the odor?
I do. We wear protective gears and masks. So we did have masks on prior to making entry. How strong the odor was.
And was that to protect yourself from the intensity?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that it appeared to be a body wrapped in a drop cloth.
It didn't appear wrapped to me. It was laying kind of on top of it.
Okay. What parts were exposed that made it apparent to you that there was a body under it?
So nothing was exposed. If you guys ever watch horror movies or anything like that, it literally looked like a body underneath a sheet. It did appear that it was on its like on the back, like so laying down on their back, but I could not tell 100% because it was covered up.
Okay. Did you attempt to remove this covering and check on the individual under it?
No.
Why was that?
It was obviously deceased.
Okay. After you finished clearing that room, where did you move next?
In the door on our left.
And what was inside that room?
That was a bathroom.
Okay. What was the state of that bathroom?
It was also ransacked.
Giving you a ballpark.
Where did you move on after the bathroom?
So once going down the hallway, you have the two doors on your left and two doors on your right. And there's one immediate door in front of you at the end of the hallway. And that's the door we made entry into.
Okay. What did you observe once you made entry to that room?
When I opened that door, I immediately observed another deceased person on the floor, right within the doorway.
What was the state of that body?
So that body, I could tell that they were on their back. They were wrapped up in a floor cloth, like a floor rug, I'm sorry, and obvious head trauma.
Okay. So fair to say then that the wrapping was not covering it sufficiently to mask the body as the first one was?
Correct.
Was it apparent that that person was deceased and could not be revived?
Yes. And oddly enough, there was a lot of head trauma, and there was like latex paint dumped, almost looked like it was poured out over top of the individual. And that color paint was the same color as the exterior of the home.
Okay. Now, did you see any other unusual paint in that room?
Yes.
And what was that?
There was paint all over the walls. And it wasn't like someone painted the wall. It was almost like they had a cup of paint or a gallon of paint and just threw it all along the walls in the home and everything in it.
Okay. After you had observed this, what did you do next?
Continued to clear the residence.
Where did you go from there?
So in that room, that appeared to be the master bedroom. There was a connecting master bathroom, and that's where we continued to clear.
Okay. And did you see anything in the master bathroom?
Yes.
What was that?
There was another deceased individual.
Okay. And what did you observe on that body?
Similar. I could not. This individual was covered up more than the one inside the master bedroom, but not as completely covered up as the one in the other room. Also, in a floor rug with paint and things like that dumped over the individual.
And was it apparent that that person was also deceased?
Yeah, similar head trauma.
At that point, had you finished clearing the house?
Yes.
What did you do next?
So once we cleared the home, we stepped outside the residence, secured it with crime scene tape, and then we would notify detectives and through our chain of command.
When you were in the residence, could you determine the identities of any of the bodies you had encountered?
I could not. The decomposition was pretty significant.
Once detectives arrived at the scene, were you asked to do anything else to assist in the investigation?
Yes.
And what was that?
They asked me if I could do a neighborhood canvass, try speaking with neighbors, see if anybody knows anything that could have happened or what had happened.
And did you do anything else to assist in the investigation from there?
No. Actually, I did. I would do scene security here and there.
And what is that?
So pretty much you hold a crime scene log, or you're just a uniformed officer in a marked car along the crime scene, making sure that it has its integrity still.
And is that to make sure that members of the public don't sort of walk through the crime scene or anything of that nature?
Yes.
Did that conclude your involvement in this investigation?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Any cross-examination?
No cross.
All right. Thank you. Sir, you may step down.
Okay, I am going to pause it here. Because like I said, I was probably going to make this kind of a short one. Just because I do have some things that I have to do. So we finished up with day one. We started on day two with the responding law enforcement police officer responding to the welfare check that was done by Richard Ivancic Jr. that he called in on January 1st. And when he arrived at the residence, he noticed a large hole in the front yard, a rake and a shovel in the front of the house, the smell, the flies in the window. At that point, he did call for backup. Well, he called for backup before he noticed the flies. It was the smell and the hole in the ground. Called for backup. Try to get a response. Knocking on the doors, didn't get a response. Entered through the slider, and from that point, they walked through the house and found 3 of the 4 victims. So right now at this point, it's about 3:18 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, I am in Washington State, so I am on the West Coast. I do live in Pacific Standard Time. I hoping to be back on maybe around 6, between 6 and 7. I'm not going to schedule live. I did try to do that last night, and because of my fibromyalgia and pain, it just didn't work out. I was in some pain yesterday, so but I will be back on tonight at some point when I feel like I'm able to do it. So I will see you all later. All right, goodbye.